spoken to. Right, here we are. We're on the beach. Can we hear me? I think you can hear me, but I might be a bit far away, so I might have to boost the sound or something. Let's work on that before we go too far. What? What do you want? What do you want? You are a baby, aren't you, mate? You are a baby. I know. Yes, you are. Okay, you get down there. Right. So here we are. We're on the beach. Doesn't look too bad. So here we can see that we've got grass and trees. This is where it's worked out nicely. Trees are growing, but where the tree cover is the densest, you've got the leaf litter as well. And that's how it should be. Unfortunately, it's not one command. The first command is to paint the area and then to paint the topology over the top of it. For example, here, that should be a stand of trees there, but the red paint wasn't put down. So as far as that's concerned, that's not trees. It's the tree base, because there's the spawn that we would normally find under trees, but there's no actual trees there. So as we can see, there's huge areas where there's going to be trees or grass, whereas there's nothing at the moment. There's just the tree litter. The red area has been painted in and the green area has been painted in. This is far too great an area to be just simply covered with trees, so that's to be worked on yet. That needs something in the interim. Yes, it's a buildable place, but there's no point in what I don't want to do is get caught constantly making areas, then changing them, and everybody loses the buildings, so that would not be good. So we've got a bandit camp. The topology isn't finished here yet, so there are some bits which are just hanging in the air. They've got to be sorted out, but they're basically in place. And oh, hello, bird. Here we've got the town. That's working as intended, and the holes are underneath, so you've got access to the tunnels as well. And of course, outside we've got some additional buildings which I've put up just to show we can do that. And as we can see here, there's a bit of wall there, there's a building, and there's various features. I want to connect road in more places, so there's plenty of road. And talking about roads, one of the problems of putting roads in is that we then have to change the underlying topology to say, don't put plants here, just put dirt or something here, because the roads become unpassable when you've got lots of plant life growing out of them. And at the end of this road area somewhere there's a gas station, which again I've got stones as the basic problem, but the problem is now that the stones are overlaying the effects, so all these stones have got to go, so that's got to be worked on. It's like a coastline fractal. The more you do, the more work you've got to do, and the more complicated it gets. But I tell you what, it's one of the most interesting challenges I've ever had to do since I played a game called Second Life. Anyway, that's where we're up to today, at the end of a very short road, and there's lots more road to do and lots more building space to create, because what I'm trying to do is create a space where anybody can build anything and have the resources for it and the ability to do it. Let's look at the editing again anyway. In this area here, we've put down the forest. As you just saw, this road is actually surrounded by forest, and that's because although I've got the ground painted there, if I go into the terrain painter and look at topology for forest, this whole area is painted red. So this is where forests are going to be auto-generated. Let me just take that bit out there. So this is where forests are going to be auto-generated. The problem with roads is you don't want forest growing up underneath them. So here's a bit of road that's going to get forest on it. Then here we're going to get forest on it, and this whole red area is just going to be forest. And that might not be fair when you consider that, well, you could be building there, but there's an awful lot of land here. Now these stones might look interesting, but they're a problem because, let me just remove some more of that I've got unwanted forest encroaching on the stones. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and get rid of those stones, so I've got to find out what they were. So it's not forest, it's not forest side. It's not a topology, it is a type, and I think that's going to be dirt. Let me just increase the size of my brush. Yes, that gets rid of the stones and puts dirt down in its place. Much better. Actually, I'd like that to be a concretey kind of colour, to be honest, but it is what it is. So hopefully now when we go in here, yeah, we should see an open pit now instead of having all those stones hiding this as we saw a minute ago. That's now cleared up. So now when we save it, so to stop the forest from going through the road, terrain painter, dirt, what have I got? I got sand, rock, dirt, grass, forest, stones, gravel. Let me change the size of my brush. I put gravel down there. It'll stop producing the, although that's not ideal, better than it was. So if I make that gravel, or a mixture of gravel in places and dirt and, you know, generally other stuff, then this road, what I'm doing here is I'm saying don't grow plants and stuff where we've got road. I think that's what I'm doing. I'm not 100%. The instructions for this program, which has evolved over time, lots of different people have contributed to it in a massive way, and give it the ability that nothing else I know of at the moment gives it. Yes, there probably are other editors out there, and there are probably mods or additions I can use to make this more powerful a tool, but for now I'm on a very steep learning curve rather. I'd like to get it into publication quickly to allow us to use it, but also I've got to be frantically aware of the fact that the longer I spend on it, the more time I spend on it, the better results going to be, and the more enjoyable it's going to be to build and stay on here. I'm hoping this needs to be the last map to do, so that we'll have a map that we can say, right, this is our map now, we'll keep this one going for a year or so, and we'll make the best of what we got. That's what I'd like to think, that's what I'm working for, so we can do this. And then at map change, I can always be generating maps in the background. Right, I'm going to change my opacity so that one doesn't overwrite the other one totally, but just by a smidge. See, the stones are fewer and further between. Right, so now we're getting bits of stones here and there. Yeah, much better. Smidges, just to give it that feeling, that hint. I'm going to put a clearing in here. So to put a clearing in, I've got to do two things. I need to change that, say, to grass, because clearings are often grass. Here it comes. So now we've got to look at the topology to find out what's going to be generated in these spaces. And at the moment, generated in that space is all forest. So forest will come right up to the very edge there. So I'm going to push that back a little bit. Push that back with a smaller brush. there will be still some tree there, but there'll be it'll be a more gradual transition, as it were. So here I want just grass. Where is that? So I've got roadside and everything here. Field. What we're going to do is we're going to paint some field. Let's erase paintbrush. I'm going to paint this area here as being field. And then you'll get things in here relating to field. So that's going to be a grass and it's going to be a field area. And then around it is going to be forest. I suppose really forest side, that's the area where it's not quite forest and not quite anything else. So I'll put that there and there just to see what the difference is when we... I have no idea what this is going to look like, but if we don't try these things we'll never know, I guess. So I'll put that there. I mean, I've got roadside as well. Should I, for example, be painting the edges of the road with the roadside thing? Oops, we'll save this and revisit it and have a look. Erase. And going this way, I'll put roadside down there as well. Paintbrush. No idea if that's what should be done or not. I'm just very much playing it by ear. Anyway, we've made some changes there. So let's get this saved and let's see what the end result is. Just to confirm what we've done, let's add an item. Assets. Looking for something solid. Bus stop. Let us place a bus stop here. So now I'm going to use this tool to rotate it. Then use the move tool to place it. Doesn't look too bad. So now let's look for a barrel. Prefab list. Barrel. Right, these items will only appear in this version of the save, which means that it can be more obvious as to what's been put there. So we'll leave that there like that, and let's jump out and have a look at what it looks like in the saved game, the actual version. Bear with me a second. Time to fade in. There's the bus stop that we made, because we're actually in the game itself now. And there's the gas station and the road going off into the forest. Remember, we made this area a green area and we added a bus stop and that barricade. The important thing here was the fact that we allowed the forest, we made green here and then allowed the forest area to encroach on the green with a transition to the heavier forested area. So that seems to have worked out quite well. The other thing we did as well was we painted stuff underneath the road to stop some of the stuff from coming through. And here you can see the edges of the road have got gravel now, so that's a little bit better. It's not perfect yet, but it's a little bit better. Let's check the other side. I've still got a road there. This road should not be there. It just shouldn't be there. It was an accident and it's still there. So the side of the road here, we've got tree growing in the middle of it. Well, of course you've got a bush growing in the middle of the road. What do you expect? It's a road. You expect bushes in the middle of roads. But I've cleared back the areas to the side of the road so that the road is more open, if not at a funny angle, and with bushes. But anyway, at least we haven't got trees growing out the middle of the road now. So that is in effect a little bit better. Alright, let's wrap this up. Oh, the other thing I wanted to check was that the pit was clear, and yes it is, we can see. If you remember, we had all stones and stuff here. Horrible. Alright, so this muddy texture is better than the non-muddy texture, I suppose. Open. Hold on the E key. Oh, there you go, fine. Yeah, we've got to get rid of this bit of road. Well, that's something to work on. When we look at the map totally, we're here. Where are we? Focus. We're there. This area here and this area here are the spawn areas. So we've just got a huge amount of work to do. As you can see, there's more green than there is red, but when we were flying over it, there was a huge amount of red. All this area is red and is over forested, so I've got to put more clear areas in there. This central area is much higher level than the outside edge, so to keep it flat we've layered it in like steps or something. But anyway, that's work that we're doing and work that's to be done. I will have a road all the way around and a road going across the centre like a figure of 8 or infinity on its side, whatever. And but I'll try to get as many monuments on there as I can put on there as well, but I'm trying to do it quickly to get it out. And there's the admin island as well, so we've got to work on that yet. All good fun. Catch you later.